So first off, I would like to ask the mandatory question: which anime got you into this world? And obviously, many people have many conceptions about any foreign show, not only anime in general. So, did you have any, or were you like completely open to the idea? And whatever perceptions you had, how had it like changed, like by the end of it?
Okay. So, um, I think probably the initial animes that I saw uh, were ones that people don't really look at as animes, but things like Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z and all were available on the TV. And so probably those were the first kind of animes really that I saw. But really my exposure to core sort of anime and proper sort of sub culture was probably with this show called Neon Genesis Evangelion. So that was the first anime that I saw. Yeah. And it was recommended by a friend. And I was very, very young. And
Sir, can I just say something? You are
yes,
right now my favorite professor in the entire college.
uh,
Okay. Yes, sir.
hey, you don't know if I like the show yet.
Yeah.
Obviously,
So
I
we have
did. It
watched
got
it.
me into
We have
anime. I
watched
did.
it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first one that I saw. And honestly, the only real issue that I had initially, or the fear that I had, was that I knew that it was in Japanese and I was watching with subs and things like that, and I felt like I wouldn't be able to keep up, or it wouldn't be as enjoyable. But given what it was, it blew my mind. Because I mean, even with things like the other shows that I mentioned and stuff, those are basically geared towards children, and so I mean, it's okay. It follows certain themes and stuff. And Evangelion is just completely out there, and I would say one of the most extreme animes that you can start with. Uh, Probably the only one worse than that you could begin with is something like a Devilman Crybaby or something like that. Have you guys watched that by any chance? That's not as distinct, but Devilman Crybaby is an anime. Yeah, that is not. Don't watch that, anyone. Please don't watch it until and unless you like nightmares and just sobbing into your pillows. Don't watch that show. That is going to leave you scarred. But yeah, so that was the show that I initially started with, and because of the kind of topics that it dealt with, because of the kind of depth that the characters had, and the issues that there were a lot of psychological issues and stuff that they talked about and stuff like that, or portrayed really, that really got me hooked because it was a very different thing, particularly at that age. um, I was probably in ninth or 10th standard, so you're just kind of getting into that entire adulthood sort of thing. And so these were topics which probably are obviously way more mature, and so it really captivated me. And so then I started kind of getting more and more into anime and watching a lot of anime after that. Could have done so much better in life if not for all the anime. But yeah, it definitely was worth it. And I think, yeah, the language was the only thing that worried me initially, but it really didn't matter too much. I think after the first few episodes and all, it became quite normal to understand it through the subs and stuff. And I think I'm someone who's not great with languages, but if you keep watching in Japanese, reading the subs, eventually you even start kind of understanding a little bit of the language itself. So that helps a lot. So yeah, that was my kind of exposure to anime.
So Jaideep, I think, is like the biggest propagator of Neon Genesis Evangelion,
Oh,
and he recommended it to me. Even
You
I
have watched
watched it because of him.
you have watched Evangelion. You're no longer a noob. Okay. You are like you've ascended beyond godhood now.
yeah, but that was just my starting, right? But yeah, that was a great show. And I think even so, the thing was, it was recommended to me. I was young. I didn't kind of understand the context of it, like not just in terms of what the show was, but what it meant to anime, right? Because that is a show that has pretty much been credited later on with the kind of really setting into motion the new generation of animes and getting that kind of thing back. These were all things that I understood and realized later on. But I get why that show kind of created this new kind of buzz. But and yeah, that is definitely a show that I would recommend for anyone to watch. Maybe not as a beginner. I'm not sure about that, how many people can cope with that. But it's a great show. And I know it has a lot of criticisms in terms of its ending and all, but I think they worked on that and kind of rebuilt that literally. So I mean, you always have those options there.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I'll give the question to Jaideep.
Now, so one of the other usual questions, which is your favorite anime and why? And when you're
Oh
trying to
man.
get into watching new shows, what themes do you look for while watching, like, trying to find the show?
Okay. So um obviously, so that is again a very tough question to probably choose one favorite. Um but I would say that um again, probably a very usual answer, but for me, I think I really like Naruto a lot. And I think another show that I definitely would put right up there and difficult to choose between is Full Metal Alchemist, which was also a great show. And I think those are also shows which are more accessible to all kinds of audiences. And also, particularly, I enjoyed the themes that they talked about, even Naruto. So the thing with Naruto particularly is the one criticism that Naruto constantly keeps getting is in terms of the talk no jutsu and how he basically talks to his villains and uh, kind of resolves things. And now here's the thing, I actually love that. I actually enjoy that so much because, I mean, it's one thing for me, it's one thing to be powerful, right? It's one thing to be able to bash someone into the ground. It's another thing to be able to understand who's opposite you and to be able to understand where they're coming from. And I think in that, Naruto did something fantastic, which people seem to, I understand the criticism is for criticism's sake, but I think what they managed to do, which again, a lot of other animes also do very brilliantly. That's one of the things in general that I love about animes, is that they manage to give their antagonists a backstory and certain reasons for why they are doing what they're doing, right? So when you look at a show like Naruto, almost none of the so the first one that you are really the first main bad guy that you are exposed to in that is what was his name, Zabuza, I believe, right? And you hate his guts to begin with, and you're like, "Whoa, what a really bad person to use good language." But as the show progresses, you kind of start feeling for him as well, and that's confusing. And so I think for those reasons, Naruto really appealed to me a lot, um, in terms of various themes that were encapsulated in it. And so that is definitely a show that I would put right up there for me. Um, to be very frank, I even like Boruto. That is how much I'm obsessed with it, despite the kind of hate that it gets. And now it's really good. I don't understand, like, if people would have stuck with it, now it's fantastic. It's crazy what they're doing with that show now. So yeah, I really like that show quite a bit. And as far as themes are concerned, so I'm someone who generally likes trying various things. So I don't have particular themes that I look for. It's just something that catches my eye. But definitely in general, with whatever kind of pop culture that I consume, any kind of books that I read, I generally have a leaning towards more sci-fi and fantasy sort of driven content. So that is generally probably the first kind of things that I pick up on. So yeah, that's probably, if anything, that is what I look for.
Thank you, sir. Now, next question from Aishwarya. Aishwarya.
Yes.
So, one last thing.
Yes.
Do you like or do you hate Sakura?
Do I like or do I hate?
Sakura.
Man, so I don't hate her and I don't understand the hate that she gets. Um, I do wish the character had more, to be very honest. I wish the character was better developed and played a bigger role in certain aspects. And I think with Shippuden, they tried to kind of do that a bit, but then it kind of got ridiculous, particularly with the last fight. Ugh, you can't, when you've got two people who are so overpowered, you've literally given them the power of gods. You can't have Sakura in the same frame and be like, oh, all the three are going to fight together. The three are not the same, and so then it kind of gets ridiculous. Now it's unbelievable. So not just in terms of making her overpowered, like I'm not talking about like making her more stronger or something like that, but she had a role to play. And somewhere I think also because the criticisms had started, they tried to pivot her into some sort of like an equal. And I think personally that was a wrong choice. She wasn't going to be an equal uh, at any point of time to Sasuke and Naruto. That's They would have had to make much stronger changes to do that. And so then it became even more apparent in terms of, yeah, she's not that useful than it would have otherwise been. And I think they should have gone a lot more with the entire medical sort of ninja thing that they were going with. And they should have concentrated a lot more on that aspect in terms of just even with the final battles and all, you could have had her playing a much stronger role in terms of that. Turns out at the end they didn't even need her for that, because Naruto comes along and can magically just make eyes regenerate and stop Guy from completely dying and stuff, which then makes her even more useless. So I think I don't hate her. I just wish the character had been like, it could have been dealt with a little better, but it's okay. I mean, you already have two characters that you're concentrating on. Naruto in general also has a bunch of other things going on, a lot of backstories that they run into for various characters, so it becomes difficult to include so much. And even as an author, I would assume just to build that much of story is tough. So I'm that is something that I wish was dealt with better, but it's okay. I mean, ठीक है, अभी क्या कर सकते हैं?
Sir,
Nothing
I
is
think the
perfect.
problem started when they gave Sakura that annoying obsessive girl trope.
Also that, yes, for sure, she did not need that. And even with Sasuke, I that is one thing that I hated Sakura and Sasuke's thing, particularly later on when Sasuke was obviously, come on man, Sakura, why would you do that? And that is so disappointing in terms of like, absolutely you're correct in terms of the trope, and in terms of like, okay, so if you're a woman, you get so into love that you don't care about anyone else, your entire village, your friends, your sensei, no one matters, no one else. Like, Naruto still dealt with it in a slightly better manner, at least in terms of his obsession with Sasuke, as was portrayed. But Sakura was ridiculous. And yeah, I agree actually 100% on that was, I actually, yeah, I strongly wish that was not a choice that was made again. But yeah, I think again culturally that's a thing in a lot of um not in a lot of the new age or deeper sort of anime, but if you look at a few of the other work, Japanese work, that's they have that kind of a culture. So that explains where that comes from. But yeah, I agree, that's a bad move.
Thank you for your answer. So now I would like Aishwarya to ask you the next question.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, I would like to. What would you like to say to like GIP students who want to like try anime but are unsure on how and where to start? What do you
Uh,
recommend them like?
okay, what would I? So that's again a tough question. I don't know particularly, but I think again with anime like Full Metal Alchemist, or even with Naruto and things like that, they are more accessible, easy to begin with. Uh, so you could probably start with that. The other thing I would probably suggest is look into anime, because there's probably an anime that deals with something that you're passionate about already. There's probably an anime dealing with a universe that you care about already, given the expansive kind of set of anime that exists. And all the anime need not be for you. I think that's another thing, right? I enjoy the kind of fight between good and evil and things like that, those kind of tropes. So, and most people do. And so you have a lot of the common animes which talk about that. Those are the the more famous anime. But there are a lot of other animes that don't even deal at all with these things, and they cover all kinds of topics, uh, and you can get into whatever you feel comfortable with, but you should get into it, because I think it does expose an entirely new world to you in a lot of ways. uh, particularly even culturally, some of the things that you can pick up, and otherwise also the kind of themes and all that are talked about, it's oftentimes very complex. And I think the entire way that anime is structured in Japanese, in Japan, beginning with sort of, they have the mangas of obviously which are generally printed, and then anime is made off of that. It allows for a lot of good storytelling and good character building and things like that. So you will definitely find something that you enjoy. So you just need to explore and find something that appeals to you. And I think right now a lot of the um, online platforms are also starting with including a lot of different anime, but obviously there are a lot of online resources where you can watch them, and so they need not be very costly or at all. But I'm not saying you should pirate, but yeah, it's easy to get into. And the one thing is, probably don't worry so much about the language barrier. I think that's probably the thing for most people that prevents them from starting off. It's the language. But you do have a lot of good subs that are available. Obviously, you also have a lot of the anime which are dubbed now. Uh, and of course, depending on the anime, the dubbing is not always great, but if you're starting off, you won't even know the difference so much. So if you're starting off, that's always a good place to start off. And I think there's unnecessary kind of hate also on um, people watching dubbed versions, wherein they are considered to be less than. And I think that's ridiculous. It's something that you're doing for your enjoyment. What does it matter what others think? And if you're comfortable with dubbed versions, you should watch those. And that's fine. Give subs a chance, because in a lot of cases those are genuinely better. But if you're more comfortable, then dubbed versions exist which are also absolutely accessible then, and you can begin with. And the main thing is, I know they are cartoons in a sense and they are animated, but they are I there are a bunch of animes I would not show children. Like if I had a young person I was responsible for in any way, no way I would show a lot of these anime too. So they do, a lot of them are talking about adult themes and things like that. So it's not as boring as one would consider them to be.
Thank you so much,
And
sir. I'll give it to Jed.
so how successful do you think anime and manga have been in penetrating in the Indian market? Like, do you think now the Indian artists might also start adapting that art style, drawing caricatures and
So
characters?
here's the thing. I think, first of all, for the first part of your question, I think it's not penetrated a lot, to be very honest. The kind of penetration that you see in other countries of anime and manga, you don't see that much in India. But it's that's a very complicated realm, because see, in terms of accessibility, right, even if the anime is dubbed or subbed, it's going to be dubbed or subbed in English. um, and that's a language that a large part of a country might speak but might not be comfortable with. And as long as you don't, a majority of our country is not living in cities, and so as long as you don't appeal to these people, it's difficult to get into the Indian market completely. But I think progress is being made, and I think with time it will start penetrating these areas as well, the kind of inner areas of India and things like that, into towns and stuff like that. Already it has. It's not as if it hasn't. When you go to Comic Cons and all, you can see the kind of anime craze that exists. Like I remember I'd gone to a Comic Con in Mumbai, and there were literally more anime characters than superhero, Marvel, DC, anything that you can think about. There were more people cosplaying anime characters than any kind of conventional sort of superhero characters or things like that. So those are good signs. But again, that's a big city, and I mean, there's only a certain section of your population that is perceivable there. So I don't really think it's penetrated as much. Uh, as far as the first part is concerned. As far as the second part is concerned, so I know that there's been a few tries of that already. Recently, I think there was this show called Karma Chakra, which was developed by uh, Durga Studios karke hai. So that's quite a decent show, and they took on Indian themes and they tried to make an anime out of that. It's a pretty recent thing. So if you guys haven't checked that out, check that out. Support. It's available on YouTube and stuff. So there are people trying it, but again, it's difficult for multiple reasons. Because I think culturally we are so rich already in terms of the different kinds of aspects that can be um, explored. I mean, a lot of the Japanese sort of anime borrows from Indian sort of culture. Even in Naruto, you had like Indra and all that were there. So it does borrow a lot from the Indian sort of culture already. So we have a very rich history of things that can be worked on. Even mythology and things like that has a lot of potential for anime. But I don't know if you want to necessarily copy the styles and all. Maybe you can make something your own, and that might work out. But yes, from an international appeal, probably going down that route might prove to be more successful. But the other bigger problem, I guess, will also be the language. Because see, even in Japan, when they make certain things in Japanese, that's a language that the entire nation speaks, right? In India, even if you try to make something in, let's say, Hindi, that's not a common language across your entire country, right? And so even within your country, not everyone will be able to enjoy it to the same level or understand it to the same level. And that complicates matters a lot for the Indian market, for any kind of content, really, in my opinion. Language barriers will prove to be a big thing that we have to try to overcome. So to find that kind of common language, and again, if you try to make it in English, again, might not appeal to large sections of your audience. Again, a lot of things will get lost in translation in terms of context or Indian things that you want to introduce. So those are going to be very difficult barriers to kind of overcome. And the other thing is, in India itself, if foreign kind of anime is not yet that well received, uh, it's a risk. It's a huge risk putting your money uh, behind Indian anime. And also, we don't have the entire culture of manga or comic books, right? I don't know if you guys are aware, but there was this Raj comics that used to come and stuff. And so you had at one time a somewhat of a culture of Indian superheroes that seemed to be growing very quickly. And it turned out that it kind of got limited to just the northern belts of India, really, where Raj comics were kind of a hit. Even on those, like you had Doga and all, which is one of the more famous Raj comics and probably one of the unique characters that they came up with. And these are, by the way, fascinating comics. So if you haven't, again, Raj comics and all, you can look into like things like Doga, and there was man, it's been years, but there was this snake guy that was there. Um, I forgot his name, Nagraj, and stuff. And then you had a few copies as well of Captain America and stuff, which were ported for Indian audiences, so to speak. But they were fascinating. They were really good characters. I know on Doga they tried to make a movie and stuff. They failed. There's a fan made thing again on YouTube pertaining to Doga. You should watch that if you haven't. It's a fan made thing. There's this guy who made it, and it's fantastic. And once you watch that, you will realize the potential that a comic book like Doga has in today's time. The grittiness and what can be included is great. It would appeal so much. Like if you like things like Punisher and stuff like that, which have all gained so much audience, which have been so successful, or even Daredevil, the Netflix sort of version of it, and what they did with it, Doga would be right in there. But that is again something that is not getting a lot of backers. They tried to make a movie on that. It fell through as far as I remember. I think Anurag Kashyap was working on it and stuff, but I don't think that is being made anymore. And so I don't think the Indian audiences right now are ready for sort of homegrown anime and sort of superhero sort of things yet. But again, hopefully with the advent, the kind of things that OTT platforms are being able to do, the content is very quickly changing. The nature of content and what people are watching is very quickly changing. And you do have success stories, not directly associated, but in terms of whatever TVF and all of these people have been able to do is a big thing, because they don't talk about the conventional kind of Indian stories, or not from the conventional sort of lens. and the fact that now they are getting support from OTT platforms and things like that is a positive trend. So maybe in the coming years we might be in a position where it's investable, let's say, and the risks are lesser. But right now I feel the risks are still quite high. But again, the problem is someone has to start, but that someone is going to probably lose money. So we'll have to see who that is. So yeah.
Thank you for your answer, sir. And now, like for the last question of the anime section, I would like Aishwarya to ask you the question.
Yes, sir. And you just mentioned the Indian comic scene, sir. So obviously, I think we're all familiar with Amar Chitrakatha. I think
Yes.
my entire childhood was characterized by those books. And so, coming to the Indian comic scene, sir, it's still Amar Chitrakatha has been and is still a popular comic in both children and adults as well. So, what do you have to say about its like influence on young people? How has it
So
shaped?
I think again, things like Amar Chitra Katha or even Tinkle that used to come out. I think again, to be very honest, the kind of readership and the kind of popularity that I saw probably when I was younger, um, I would say it's kind of waning. Chitra Katha is still doing quite well, but it's nowhere in terms of the popularity that it enjoyed at one point of time. Also, I think Amar Chitra Katha um, deals with what it deals with very well, but that's a very limited kind of genre. That's a very limited kind of thing that they are building their work on in terms of mythology and sort of those Indian stories of gods and things like that. So obviously they will appeal to younger audiences, particularly because I think the parents and the grandparents love exposing the children to these kind of things. There's always this fear of our culture getting lost. So I think a large part of the Amar Chitra Katha kind of popularity comes from there, because parents, when you see it on a bookshelf, that is what you want to get for your kids. Um, those are the kind of stories that their generation grew up with. Those are the kind of stories that you want your children to grow up with. That is not a bad thing at all. That's a good thing. But my concern is that's a very limited thing. You would still not pick up. So again, there are a lot of Indian kind of um, graphic novels and all that have come out in between, but they have nowhere near the kind of success that Amar Chitra Katha has. So I think it kind of has obviously shown that this can be successful, but in a very limited way. And so anyone else who has tried to even slightly stray from the path. So I think even in terms of the kind of graphic novels, I think there was one which had uh, sort of it drew from uh, Durga ji's mythology and all quite heavily. Again, I forget the name, but again, this came out quite a few years back, but hardly any kind of readership, hardly any kind of success. Um, and it wasn't as if it was rooted in the mythology, but it was taking a very different kind of gritty approach to it rather than the kind of usual just comic book telling of direct sort of mythological stories. And that didn't get any kind of success really. And so I think it kind of is very limited, sadly. It could have opened up avenues, but I think because of the perception of people and why people are buying it, they are buying it because they want those stories to be read by their children. Now the children enjoy stories for what they are, and they would equally enjoy these stories as well. But that culture is sadly not there. And I think in general, sadly, um, reading is not something that we give as much importance to as we should. But also this is because of various factors. I don't think culturally we are people who don't enjoy reading. I think it's also related to the kind of costs, particularly for comic book style and these kind of um, books and all that come out. The print costs and all are quite heavy, and so the book costs are high, and so how accessible it is, all of those things kind of uh, create a lot of problems in accessibility of anything. Like even if it tries to venture a little bit from Amar Chitra Katha, it just hasn't been very successful, sadly. So I think it proved, obviously played a big part, and it proved that a market exists. But I don't think people saw that the main reason why people are getting Amar Chitrakatha is of a particular nature. And so even if you try to divert a little bit from that path, you don't get the kind of success. So you probably need some other kind of novels, graphic novels and all to come out, which have similar kind of success. And then maybe you can see that influencing a lot more.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So I think this has concluded